Tinubu fought his way through. And you and I know that he dollarized the election.
Nigerians are not for war unless pushed to the wall.
That the man who will produce to be our president has this baggage.
You have to be corruption compromising before you can be relevant.
Hello and welcome. This is Punch Exclusive. Today I talk to Ayo Adebanjo. He's popularly known as an elder statesman, but beyond that, maybe a lot of people would remember him as a leader of the Afenifere group. Recently, he celebrated his 95th birthday, and a number of us have been wondering what really is the secret to this longevity. So, welcome and sit with me, Adebanjo. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. I thank God.
It's good to see you and see you in good health also. I seem to think the best way to start this conversation, sir, if you would permit me, is to ask exactly if you could give a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 secrets to a healthy, long life, what would it be?
I really keep to the rules of good living. I try as much as possible to eat a very good diet. And that's what we learn in our secondary school for exercise and all that. I try to do all that, and I think that's all. But on top of it all, it is the grace of God.
Right. You remember the things you learned in secondary school?
Of course, yeah. The secondary school, not the secondary school nowadays. Those are the secondary school where the teachers who taught us were devoted. And when you leave a good secondary school, even in primary school, you are a ready-made man.
And that's why a number of us are still seemingly surprised to see you remember the things that happened pre-independence, to say, oh my goodness, I mean, he remembers with such precision even. Can you tell me what you make of Nigeria's age in the light of achievements, current level and status and operations of democracy? How are we faring?
As I told your colleagues who came here, I'm not excited that they were 63. I am a very sad and embittered old man. Why? And I don't blame you. You can't have my passion because you never experienced it. As one of those who fought for independence, demonstrating in London as a student for independence for Nigeria, carrying placards with a vision that the way the colonialists were ruling us, our people could do it better. There's nothing to compare with us now. Afenifere is pure and simple, a political party, local name given to the political party of action group in the Western region.
That's right. So across the nation, where the Yoruba people are not domiciled,
there is no action group. In fact, that was why we were able to get members in all the legislatures of the country in the First Republic. The action group with Bidu Bet Alliance, action group with Saga Paracon in the north, action group with this group in the east, fighting for more states under a federation.
So I equally just want to speak to this whole issues around how you stood your ground supporting Peter Obi, when essentially people would expect as a leading political figure in Yoruba land that you would pitch your tent with a Tinubu whose political career you had also aided in the past.
When you ask the question that when all others are supporting somebody from southern Nigeria, I supported Obi. And that's why I said in that press conference, go and find it already at that interview. I stated there that on the principle of how we came together to be granted independence in 1960, these are the principles of our coming together. But the federal, there must be autonomous for each federative states. At that time, there are only 3 regions, North, East, and West. And it was at that time, Sifawolo was bringing it to the colonialists. That is, what type of federation are you having? Where one unit is better than the 2 remaining put together. That shows the awkwardness of the federation. So there must be more states to be created to create equality.
I only seem to be able to ask right now, what are the 1, 2, 3 ways, if you have any suggestions, to how the current President Bola Tinubu could ensure that Nigeria reverts to true federalism? There was the confab of 2014 that, to me, wasn't honored, but what can we do going forward?
When I say I'm a sad person, because Bola Tinubu you are talking about, that is the basis of the election we elected him. That was the chairman of the party that made him the governor of Lagos State. So under the question, there must be federalism in the country. After the coup of 1966. And at that time, those of you who tried to claim, when the military now said they want to go back to the barracks in 1999, I said, well, okay, you are going back to the, because when they came in, they abolished the independence constitution. So you'll be reading the papers after February and others saying, go back to 1962. That is the constitution our founding fathers agreed with, which was federal. In the First Republic, before the coup, the action group known as Afenifere in the West, we are the only political party represented in every parliament in the country at that time. Are you following? We formed the opposition in the North. Alaji Maito, I tell you that, they go to history. We are the government of the Western region, led by Sifawolo. We are the opposition in the East, led by SG Koku. I challenge anybody to say, well, any other party, SNC or NPC at that time, has such representation. So when our critics want to say, oh, you're a tribal organization, you are not, no. They forget this truth, they put this truth aside.
Do you see the current government of the day being able to muster the political willpower to restore us to federalism?
I doubt it. It will surprise you, because it's not for you to go. When you talk of restructuring, that's what we are talking about, of federalism. Did they not promise it as APC? Under Buhari? Did they do it? You are talking of 2014 National Conference. That is the nearest to the independence constitution. It is under the military constitution that defines the question of revenue, land mass, population. I've challenged them before. It is the colonialists, in order to make the North dominators, who manipulated their figure. Aaron Smith, they are told us, he was the officer there. He wrote the book and said, the population is not there. And I have said in several interviews, challenging the North, oh, where have you got the population? Except you are going to count the cows and the cattle. This is not rock science. Have you been to the North?
I have, to several states in the North.
Safeguard, Zaria and a few people. Where do you find the population?
I think the places where I found the population are Kano, I've been to Kaduna, I've been to Niger.
Concentration.
Niger.
That's why I say many of the leaders you live in denial. All this is all we all know. You travel several miles on that red line. The population. Now, when we now say now, let's do the census. You read it, and you are challenged. All that's why I say That's another history. The colonialists deliberately did that in order to make the North control, because they can easily manipulate the North.
So the election that saw to the defeat of Peter Obi and Atiku in the last, presidential election has had a lot of back and forth. So essentially, to speak to how we've seen the judgment of the tribunal, and now the case is being appealed, and there is more and more. But for you, I would like to know, I know you spoke up to say that it's okay, Peter Obi Atiku should go ahead and contest it even in a higher court of law, because you believe indeed that that victory was theirs. But people have said, and back to our conversation around the numbers from the North, people have said Bola Tinubu's kowtowing to the North delivered the numbers and the victory in that election, and that we cannot contest the fact that he did get the victory.
My dear, those are who win this election. Did you not see the rigging? Did you not see the violence? And even from the electoral, from the INEC, who said there's going to be probity and all that there, did they keep to the law that they pronounced it? That cost us a lot of money? That's the contest. Don't forget, by the time Obi said, I won the election and I will prove it, it was the INEC chairman who said, by the time he used INEC, and we have to debate it, we have to vote a lot of money there. He said that there could be no question of anybody doing it. And now, that is the assurance you give me. That is the law. And he said anything that is not founded in the RSA, no, it was broadcast. And mind you, the very method you are going to use, you use it to get the result of senator and House of Representatives. But when you have to presidency, the thing doesn't work. That's our contention.
Do you believe that Peter Obi would get victory with this contention? Do you believe that Peter Obi would get victory with this contention? And what would victory be?
The law, the people who are doing the right thing. All we are saying is that the man has changed the law, which we say we are going to, under which we are going to contest the election.
So now the basis of this contention is about the law, on what was agreed and how it has changed during elections.
That's all.
That has, in your opinion, affected the results of the
Not
election.
in my opinion, that is it. By that law, it's not possible to bago. That is why by the time you are now using the handwriting, you see all this, you are able to change. It is the INEC who said, if you use that method, the result at the polling station will be communicated direct straight. So the question of changing the figure at the county is not possible. Now you go outside that. And now you want to use what you condemn, and you are supposed to send billions to avoid. That's the basis on which, that's the point.
So you are speaking to the inconsistency from the same body.
Not only that, the umpire now became partisan. And the rigging, you see, a person that can't go back again. How can you say an election where one of the contestants chooses the referee, one of the contestants passes the law, and says it's going to be fair? And in order to avoid all this, that is why the question of beavers coming. And you abandon it at the you change the goalpost middle of the game. These are the facts. This is what we are saying. According to the regulation, because there are certain things the law says, to win election, you must do this, must do this, must do this. That's what we are depending upon. That those conditions were not fulfilled. That's why the umpire now announcing this on midnight.
Since President Bola Tinubu became president, has he put a call across to you Has he reached out in any form? I did read his message to you during your birthday earlier this year, but since he became president, has he put a call across to you? Has he put a call across to you? Has he reached out to you?
No, he cannot. Why? I warned him in my room that Buhari is deceiving him, that he wouldn't support him for presidency. That's another story. So you are not that one, you go. Right now, his conscience will tell him whether what I told him is correct or not. And even from what you could see in the air, the primaries of the APC, the Buhari supported Tinubu. He said in the papers, you governors, you choose your successor. Now let me choose mine. It's in the papers. And they were fighting the question of preferred candidate by Buhari until the last. When Lawan said, Buhari has not chosen it, they have chosen it. Tinubu fought his way through. And you and I know that he dollarized the election. And those who said they're not going to support him in the north, telling Buhari, they changed the figure under heavy dollarization. You don't know that, except that anybody's going to deceive himself. So all that, you see, that's why I say, all those who are beneficiaries under the corrupt system, that's why I say, you go and read the press statement made by Afenifere supporting Obi. We are not supporting, hold on, we are not supporting him, notice my word, for him to become president. That's just a means to an end. Because the only person who can change the constitution, that is the basic thing we are fighting for. If you want to change it peacefully, you must be in a position to do. To be in a position to do, you must win an election. I've said it in the papers. Yes. In 2007, Afenifere supported Buhari.
But equally,
hold on. Why? No, don't jump. You see, this is how you know the sincerity and the consistency of parties. Why? He promised to do restructuring. And I said it. He has not refuted it.
But he didn't do it.
This is what I'm because you're asking whether the present government can do. I said, that's issue. Now, when in 2007 again, Buhari came out again, APC came out, we supported Atiku. Why? He was to do restructuring. Even under this present government, the thing with which they deceive the public, Tinubu, Buhari and everything, the thing in the manifesto of the APC is structural. When Jonathan was going to leave the government, in the papers, when he was handing over to Buhari, we saw it on the TV. He said, this is the most important document, that's 2014. Buhari put in the archives. When they were going to contest the election, restructuring is on the first page. When they came in, the chairman there, they now said, no, restructuring is not their priority, it's corruption. They are going to wind up. So we are attacking them on that. That's why I say, who are going to it? When the lot of noise was thereafter, in 2018, the APC itself set up a Rufai commission on the question of at that time they were confusing the issue. And you don't know what is meant by discussion. Discussion means many things to many people. And we are telling nothing more than go back to federalism. Rufai now recommend practically everything in 2014. 2018, nothing there. They came back in 2019. And don't forget, the present president is the principal partner with Buhari. Don't forget, before he was sworn in, when they're campaigning, he said he was going to continue where Buhari's ended. And he now comes in and you want me to believe that. From the track record of not fulfilling promises, not to talk of corruption, mounting on corruption. They now institutionalize corruption. So if you're going to go to all that, so the bottom line, change this constitution. When you change this constitution, you're going to get anywhere in this country. I respect it. If anybody, be it Obi, be it anybody, say you have a wonderful program, not under this constitution, but be under a constitution acceptable to all the federating units of the federation.
Thank you. Sunday Igboho was released by the Benin Republic government, and you could say that has taken such a long time, 2 years now, and he came out publicly to say thank you to a number of elders from Nigeria, mentioning your name and all of that. In the past, I remember talking to you about Sunday Igboho, and you spoke to me about the things that you did and how much you were working behind the scene to ensure that he regains his freedom and all of that. Do you see Sunday Igboho going back to his initial agitation for the Yoruba nation upon his return to the country?
Even there at that time, if you read all my interview, I told Buhari, the moment you implement restructuring, iPod will disappear, Igboho will disappear. We are talking of self-government for that thing. And for your information, I've never met iPod, what's his name now? The leader of Kanu. But I said what to him? This violence and stuff, we don't need it. Let us all press for a federal constitution where every region will be autonomous. Because they are talking of being sidelined and all that, where we have settled the power of the region and the power of the center, where we have settled how we are going to be distributing our revenue, which is the question of the people of South. Okay. If you read my interview, I tell you, all the problems we are having today have been settled. It was the military that changed it by changing the constitution. This is what has caused all this. Igboho there, iPod there, Igbesu there. That is why those also know the beginning, summarize the thing, or this was change the constitution.
That's right.
Our security will be under us, local government will be under us, and all the revenue education, you get your money, you pay percentage to the center, we don't dispute. But those who don't believe that they should work for what they get, it is they who introduce the question of revenue, where they will contribute a penny and collect 20,000. Where those who contribute 20,000 will be given 10 pence. That is the system you're having. I've said it several times. Under such a system, can never have peace. And what is causing the problem today is the idea of the North having an appendage in the South against one of the South. What they are doing now against the East, they have used this East against the West before. That was what happened before the coup. You remember that those who died in the coup are mostly Easterners and Northerners. So when I tell you all history, those of us who know, but people who know pretend not to know. And until they go back to it, there will be no peace.
Now, I need you to speak to me around the current saga of the President Bola Tinubu's certificate issues. Former President Atiku asking the Chicago State University to provide the documentation of Bola Tinubu as a student of the Chicago State University. I just need you to talk to me around why we seem to be having a bit of a drab over this. Because some have said we do not even know the people who went to school or who the President Tinubu went to school with. Recently, a few people have come out to say it was my classmate and all of these things.
After how many years?
After so many decades. And a lot of people equally have said, okay, so these schools you went, what are their names? Can you give us the names? There must be one person leaving. You have spoken about a number of people you fought together, one person in the east whom you said just died, and somebody in the north. And I mean, what do you make of all of these things when it comes to some controversies surrounding the president?
There is no, well, you don't make anything out of it, and the fact that there's no truth in what he's saying. That's the unfortunate thing. You see, in this saga, I feel sorry for the country, particularly those who are defending Tinubu's saga. Can they be proud? And I don't want to mention a particular name. You and I, with all this baggage of Tinubu, the bad, this and that we can be proud that our own president has a record like Bear, Cameron, and all these people. Whether that's true or not, why is it he? And when they now even produce the record from the university, what you call it? The
certification.
The details of the thing. What was revealed that true is more damaging. You said it. I was telling you now, in the first place, you told the whole world, you went to Chatham House, how proud you are. When I tell you I was at the grammar school, how can you say you want to go to the grammar and find out? I said, don't go. When I said I attended Lincoln's Inn, I said, don't go. I know how many people you are called together, the late Adebanjo and others. And in Lincoln's in law, every year people pass the bar exam, there's a booklet. Now, on this occasion, you now say, this is the certificate I got from the university. You presented it. And the registrar of the university said, well, now, you see the game? They are now trying to change it. That did he attend it? That is not the question. How many people attended the university and never completed it? Or drop out? Or did they pass? That's not the question. You say you attended and you have a certificate. And the registrar came and said, no, we don't know about this certificate. What more do you want? See, I'm confused.
But they did attest to the fact that he was a student of the... But they attested, the registrar attested to the fact that Bola Tinubu was a student of Chicago State.
Is that the issue?
But that wasn't the question.
The
question was, where is the certificate? And they've come to say this certificate did not emanate from
my dear money. This is what may be sad in this country. And for those who are still saying something in defense of this ugly situation, where you should cover our face as a Nigerian, that the man who will produce to be our president has this baggage. I'm concerned. Mind you, I should be one of those who will be proud that Tinubu is the president of this country because I made him the governor of Lagos State. I was the instrument. When the certificate saga started, I was the one who defended him. Go and find out. When the Buhari of that time, of that period started, they now say, your old man too. And I defended myself from the facts I saw at that time. The action group, the Alliance for Democracy, contested in 36 states. We won only 6. And you want me to be the leader of that state to say, one of the 6 won is incorrect. But I don't know. That is not even the basis, but from the facts he gave us, we should believe. As many of you believe Buhari before 2015, that you will perform wonders. You show your face, you saw the briefing, you are now saying that the worst administration in the country.
So are you saying, Baba, you believed him and his certifications
at that time?
At that time he was governor.
But when some facts are now coming out, I fold my arms.
So it was a case of you not knowing the whole truth?
Thank you.
Or was it that you knew in part?
No, I didn't know. And I believe him. And this is what I'm telling those who are supporting him now. It's like when you supported Buhari in 2015. Oh, he's clean man, this, that. When you now know that he cannot walk the talk, why don't you give up? That's why I praise Dele Momodu. He confessed. He was one of those who was championing with Tinubu. Because that was what he knew. But why any intelligent man, any honest man, in view of the exposure from the university, why should you continue to say, no, he's a Yoruba man, he's already there? No! As the Lord said, forget legalese. And there are cases in the Supreme Court where one of the judges said, no, forget technicalities. Do the substantial justice. Can any honest person, in view of the exposure from the university, say, you got that certificate from the university? Or what have you defended? Say you attended a secondary school. One, first of all, a government college in Ibadan. That professor. Now is that government college Lagos. That was never founded by you say you were there. Or to your everyone to see. We knew when government college Lagos founded, and you say you went there in 1970. Is that not enough for anybody to cover his face? My dear, I don't want to be involved in this matter, but it is the brush brought to Nigeria, as Atiku said. It's not a question of Atiku, no. How will I appear in the outside world? I go to Germany, I go to America, I go to Nigeria. This is the record of my president, which we have not been able to disprove. That's the question.
What is the dream, the biggest dream that you have for
the
Nigeria?
The biggest dream for me, before God calls me, to establish a federal Nigeria where all the federating units are autonomous and they're able to develop at their own space as it is practiced in all the federal countries of the world. In America, it's federal. Australia is federal. India is federal. New Zealand is federal. India is federal. Why should our own be different? There's nothing like federalism according to Nigeria, something so borderline. That's my dream. When we have a just Nigeria, inclusive, why am I so strong on Obi? Why? We have agreed that if you are, after having this federation, the only thing that connects us is federalism. We shall be sharing the post of the president. When it is south, it will be north, north-south. And after the coup, and the military said they want to go back to the Buhari, we started the Obasanjo. After Obasanjo, Yar'Adua came. After Yar'Adua, Jonathan came. After Jonathan, Buhari came. Now Buhari left. He said, come to the south. Should you go to the west again? Is that fairness? Is that justice? Is that equity? Is that inclusiveness? And you want the Biafra people to keep quiet. That's my point. That's why I say, go and read the press conference Afenifere gave in supporting Obi, principle, purely simple.
If you can make a case for Nnamdi Kanu's release from detention right now, how would you make the case?
The case is clear. You see, part of that I say, if I'm going to go to all the details of this regime and the predecessor, it's a shame as far as I'm concerned. We say we are under a constitutional democracy. We ignore the rule of law. Buhari government continued by the way. They are the worst government that's paid scant to the rule of law. In fact, Buhari had the audacity to address the Bar Association of this country, said the rule of law is subject to the to the national interest. And I was ashamed of my Bar Association. Of course, that was not the Bar Association that I was. For me, the present Bar Association is not the Bar Association that they inherit. It's not the Bar Association for Kabashon. And those who know among them. The present Bar Association, they have sold pecuniary thing, taking brief from the government to silence them. Very few of them now can speak the truth.
So you see the reason for holding Nnamdi Kanu as a basis for not obeying the rule of law.
Of course.
Impunity by the Buhari.
Serious, not only that.
Against the rule of law.
Because what of the former security man, the issue that presentation today? Or what of the this leader of Muslim in the north? That Muslim. Sasaki. How many court judgment? Sunday Igboho, you did everything that is most shameful. You invaded a citizen in the midnight, saying you are looking for arms. You went there, you killed the competent mother there, destroyed the thing. The man take you to court because you have no reason to do this. Go and pay him compensation. No, they just say they are talking nonsense. Under the democratic system, under the rule of law. There's a lot to be ashamed of under Buhari. And it takes us some time to wash all the dirty things that Buhari has transferred to us. That's why I say, I doubt if Tinubu have the courage, the will, to clean all the against table that he did, both for corruption and other things. Talking of the Buhari subsidy. They are the people who are chopping the money. If the present government wants to do this thing, let him go after those who are collecting the money under subsidy. If you can do it. If you can have the courage, the will, and expose, and let's say who are those responsible. Those who are selling dollar privately to some people. And that's where Afenifere is involved. That's why they can't prosecute him in the open. They cannot. He was in league with them. Can you imagine the governor of Central Bank having the courage, and that is not to resign, to say want to contest election under the government that they are protecting. All these dirty things. It is how I say that you and I, the fight that I am doing is not for me. I have nothing to gain from this thing. What I'm expecting now is the glory of God to say now that they are serving the party. And I want to be able to tell my predecessors, my colleagues, that as long as I live, I fought the battle. Everybody has a price. But even young men, that's why I pray the obedient, the people who are following will be. If you don't fight to the end, not this generation of Buhari can save you, because they are the culprits. They can't afford a change of government. They change this government, the mess you find, even right now, what Buhari government has done, if you're able to clean the Ogias table in 20 years, you'll be lucky. Maybe if you are lucky to get a person as you will be, to come into the service. to be able to clean it in, irrespective of who source is God. Because
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. And that's it on catching up with Pa Ayo Adebanjo. This has been a Punch exclusive interview, and I know that you made quite a lot out of this conversation. To join us again for another episode of Punch Exclusives. My name is Melanie Ishola.